First of all, have all of you seen her walking her baby with her brown mask on?
No.
She goes for walks with a face mask on. It's so unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, like a mask. Like a
yes.
Oh no.
Yes. It looks like she just put her face in mud, is what it looks like.
Exactly what it looks
So
like.
I need to know what all of this is.
And her neighbors look at her funny and she does not care because look at that skin.
Yeah.
Well, so, being a new mom, you only have so much time, or being any kind of parent or just a person, I feel like, because I didn't really have that much time before. But you're just like, when can I'm always looking for things where I can do double duty. And this was one of those things that I'm like, I really want to try this. This company, it's Biologic Research. They have this amazing skincare line that has been around since the 60s and the 70s. And they just use science to build it and build it and build it. And they have all these things for every skincare type and everything you could possibly really almost need. I mean, I use a bunch of products from other things, but as a good baseline, they're amazing. And so they did a 2-week challenge where they're like, hey, put this mask on your face every day for 2 weeks. You put it on for 15, 20 minutes and let it dry, and then you wash it off. And I was like, well, when am I going to do this? And so at first I was like, I can do this every night before I go to bed. No.
Not realistic.
No. And then I was like, okay, I can do this every morning when I wake up. And then while I'm getting ready and before I go on my walk and, and everything. And then I just ran around. And so I was just like, you know what? One morning I was like, I'm just going to put this on my face and I'm going to go for a walk. And I'm going to put on my sunglasses and no one's going to really notice.
Yeah, right.
And,
yeah, right.
I got a few neighbors do the slow crawl past me, in their cars, what is on her face? And I'm just like, you know what? And after a day or two, you just don't care. And I did it for 2 weeks and I was like, wow. And this speaks to the consistency of using good skincare. Because if you use good skincare and you use it consistently, your skin will show up for you. It will show a difference. You will have fewer pimples. You will have less hyperpigmentation. You will have better texture. Your skin will stay hydrated longer and not have dry spots. And a lot of times what people don't realize is oily skin is generally dehydrated skin. Your skin is compensating for the fact that you are not consuming enough water or that there's not enough water in the environment to keep it moist. And so that's how it protects itself and keeps the integrity of the skin good, is because of its moisture barrier. And so a lot of times it will overproduce your oil or your sebum, and that's why we look oily. And so if you are using a proper moisturizer, you're hydrating properly, and your skin, you've treated it well, it's pretty happy and it will maintain its nice moisture barrier. You won't become over oily. You won't become, too dry. And so it's this idea that, you use our great skincare, and that's also why I have a 7-step program.
And so what is that? Daily? So
Daily.
Are morning and night different? Or is
morning and night are different, and sometimes nights are different.
Oh.
And sometimes mornings are different. It just, honestly, it's like I look at it as tools in my chest. And if I'm going in my skin, let's say it's a little irritated and red, I did Retin-A last night. And so this morning I'm going to make sure I have lots of hydrating layers on, and then I'm going to finish it off with a nice occlusive barrier, my moisturizer. But generally it starts as a cleanser. I love our Glide Cleanse in the mornings. And then I go on to a fantastic toner. I use my P50. And then from there, I do my essence. And then I do my vitamin C. And then I have another essence that I really love that I've started using. And then I use my serum from Vintner's Daughter. And then my moisturizer. And then sometimes I finish it off with my sunscreen. Actually, I always finish it off with my sunscreen. I'm like, I was thinking.
And you don't ever wear makeup, do you?
No, that's what I was saying when I came in here.
So there's nothing on your skin right now?
No, right now I actually do have a little, I have it's called the Miracle Balm, and it's like a blush. And then I put on some eyeshadow and eyeliner. And that's what I was struggling with today. Because I was like, dang, this is crazy because I used to be the person, I bought the airbrush makeup and I carried it around in my backpack.
What?
And when I first started at Parkland, I would get to work, instead of doing skincare, I would get to work and I would airbrush my whole face. And then I would start my day or my night at Parkland. But I mean, I was that person that I was fully on every single time. And then, like I said, it all got stolen and I had to rethink about that.
Wow.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So, do you know why females have like 100 different products and then guys have like one for everything?
Well, I feel like guys just want the simple path no matter what, you know? Like, my husband and I have this conversation often. He probably is going to be like, what? Don't talk about me. But, you know, he really wants that smooth, great skin. But man, if it gets past like 4 products, I can sometimes get him into 5
That's
on a
even
regular
shocking.
basis.
That is
Yeah.
shocking.
I can't
I
even
mean,
imagine.
But we're talking like wash his face, use the toner, use vitamin C, and
Patrick would never.
most
Patrick
of the time, and then
uses soap.
moisturizer. Yeah.
I mean, at least he does that. Like, there's some guys that I had a patient once. I asked him what his skincare routine was, and he said, "Oh, well, I just use the detergent." And I said, "What?
What?
Detergent?
What?" He said, "Yeah, the detergent that my wife sprinkles in the washing machine." And I was like, "No, you don't."
What?
And
I would
his
die.
wife was in the room, and she's like, "Yes, I've been telling him literally for years.
I have
like,
never
don't do
heard
that."
that before.
Yeah,
I
and he was
haven't
like,
either.
he's like, it gets everything off. Well, I'm sure it's super abrasive. Like that's not.
Gosh.
We're not supposed to be exfoliating with crystals that wash clothing. No, I've had some weird stuff. I think men, more so than like wanting it to be simple, don't feed into always this is better than that was. And women do. It's like you had this, but now there's this. And women are like, gotta have the best, gotta have the newest, gotta have whatever's working now. Because eventually I don't want to look how that person does, whoever that person is. So, and men more so are like, I'm gonna look how I look. Like it kind of is what it
Yeah.
is. And I have plenty of friends who are very well manicured and still, I mean, I can't get them to use all the products I'd love for them to use. They want me to magically fix their skin, but they don't want to do the steps to get there.
Yeah.
I mean, I have all these products and I use like a face wash in my shower and then I use something under my eyes. I don't even know what it is. And then I use like an all over.
Moisturizer.
That's awesome. I mean,
Yeah,
That's good. That's
I'd
good.
take those
Yeah.
3 over
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
When you come in, we'll get you all the steps
But I
you
really
need,
feel,
but-
but I have all this shit. And I don't know what to do with it, you know?
That sometimes is the hard part. Is
Yeah,
you get the
it's-
stuff and you get told it really fast. I'm like,
Mm.
can you write that down because I do not know. And then they kind of try. They're like, well, you do this, and I'm like, oh fuck, I don't know what goes first. What is
And
that? What do
many
I
things
do?
even have like the numbers on it. So step 1, step
Yes.
2, step 3, you know?
And that's what I do for a lot of clients. I'm like, bring in your products.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'll very quickly sort through it and I'll be like, okay, you can save this for a rainy day or give this to somebody else.
Yeah.
And I'm like, here we go. And then here are the little things that I want you to put in. And I number it. And I just say,
Wow.
just go down the line until you hit
Smart.
the end.
Yeah.
And depending on their skin, and you have to meet somebody halfway, right? So if they have 3 steps, you know, they wash their face, they put something in their eyes, they put on their moisturizer, you go, okay, I just want you to add in this one extra thing. And you let them go, you know? And 3 months later, they're like, I really love that. And a lot of times for me, it's that, you know, P50, it's a chemical exfoliant and it acts as your toner. And that's actually how I got my husband hooked, you know? He was like, wow. He was like, this makes my skin feel so smooth.
I
And was
definitely
like,
feel a difference. I do. So for all the guys, for all the male listeners, what do you recommend something that's simple and effective?
cleanser, toner, toner, vitamin C, moisturizer.
So
We're
what is a cleanser? What is a toner?
Yeah.
Cleanser
So-
can be, go ahead.
We have Glycleanse. I tell
Love it.
all of my patients, male, female, don't care. Glycleanse is going to be what
Yep.
you need to be using. I would say for a patient like you, Glycleanse is going to be key because if you want a less is more approach, glycolic acid is helping your cell turnover rate, so your body's not harboring and holding on to dead skin. That's exfoliation from inside. So now you don't have to go in and manually exfoliate your
Nope.
face. You could wash your face with a towel. With your fingertips every day instead of a towel, and you would still have exfoliated, shiny, bright skin because the chemical, the glycolic acid in the Glycleanse, is going to do that for you.
And is this something you would do on a daily?
Yes.
I have my patients use it twice a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because I think I have some of that, and it kind of burns a little bit when
Yeah.
you
I
put it
use
on.
that every day.
Yes.
You use it every day
little
because I
pad?
feel
Morning and night.
I
The
feel it
pads?
kind of dries
No,
up my
the-
skin a little bit.
So that
Cleanser.
is a key point for why she said you need a vitamin C. So specific vitamin C's. I like CE Ferulic by SkinCeuticals
That's
for
nice.
a vitamin C. It has the vitamin C, the vitamin E is healing, and then it has ferulic acid. The ferulic acid is acting like a vehicle to push the vitamin C down into the skin. So that's going to help you to be moisturized long term and protect you from the environment. It also helps to sort of start to replenish what the glycans is stripping. So it's stripping your face. You need to put some fatty acids and cholesterols back into your skin. So you need a night cream. The night cream that I put most of my patients on is triple lipid by SkinCeuticals. It's low maintenance. You literally just lather yourself in it and go to bed. And you don't use it during the day because
I have
it's thick.
no night treatment.
Yeah. See, you
all.
have to think about it this way. If you eat breakfast first thing in the morning and then you don't eat for the rest of the day, you've depleted that from your stomach, right? It goes through a digestive process. Think about that with your skin. If we're depleting everything when we strip everything away and we use the glycolic acid in the morning, when are you replenishing your face? So you have to replenish it at night. And I find that the only way that a patient really can use it 2 times in a day is if they're using something to replenish what it's stripping. So there are even more further, stripping, so to speak, steps that I put my patients on. I am pretty aggressive with my skincare
Very,
approach for my patients. Yeah, I'm very aggressive. And that's because I book out about 6 to 8 weeks on a minimum. And so if a patient comes in and consults with me on this Monday, I can't see you until the beginning of May. Well, I don't want you just sitting there twiddling your thumbs until you're going to see me in May. So
Yeah.
we're going to prep your skin and we're going to do it in an aggressive way so that either you call me in May and go, you know what, I have this appointment with you. My skin looks fantastic. I don't need it. Great. Sounds good. Let's maintain our skin with the
Wow.
skincare. Or you come in and now I've got less indication to treat. So now we're running into less inherent risk with laser because laser is risky, right? So the more you can do to train your skin to do what it's naturally supposed to do, the better. We're supposed to naturally be able to exfoliate. We lose that when we're young. We're supposed to naturally be able to create the right amount of sebum to keep our skin moist, but not to look like we're greasy. That doesn't always happen. We're supposed to be able to protect ourselves from the sun. Years and years and years of humans doing what they've been doing has totally depleted that in our DNA makeup. So we have to use something foreign to do so. That's why sunscreen's key. That's why vitamin C is key, or any type of antioxidant.
Yeah.
There are even nighttime antioxidants that you can use. That gets into a whole nother area, but there is something for everything. You just have to find that happy
Right.
spot.
And it's what's important to you.
Yeah.
Because
Because if I tell you, if I look at your skin and you say, what do you need? You have amazing skin.
Mhm.
Your forehead is a little shiny, so I want to ask you, are you over exfoliating? That'd be the first thing I'd say. But that's it. There's really nothing else. So to me, what looks important to me might not be, you might say, I've got fine lines and wrinkles, I've got open pores, I hate pigment. Well, I don't see those things. So we have to find a compromise.
She's
on
like
what's
all the way on
important.
the other side.
I'm trained to do this.
I'm dehydrated.
Yeah. No, that's Stephanie said, if you're creating too much sebum, you are likely dehydrated. So
That's interesting though.
Wow.
The water. How important is it for women to wash their face at nighttime and wash their makeup off?
Oh my God.
you don't understand.
And I'm
how
also
I
would you not
don't.
brush your teeth?
Yeah,
Would you eat ice cream, candy, everything else, and then go to bed and not brush your teeth? And would you do it every single day?
Right.
Or would you even do it 3 times a day?
Would you
not
not
3 times
just
a day,
not
3 times a
shower?
week.
There's
Yeah.
not an option.
Would you
Right.
go for a hot, intense gym,
God.
session and then not shower?
I'm honestly shocked by some of people I know that do not wash their face. I'm like, what? I had a girlfriend. She's like, I'm shocked. Even at her house, she's like, you always wash your face. I was like,
Oh.
yeah, because I
Yeah.
can't imagine.
No, I don't care how drunk I am.
No,
I don't care how
I
late it
managed to
is.
do it.
I'm
So-
slathering stuff. I'm so drunk. Yeah, but my skin's clean.
Yeah.
So is this with makeup or just in general you should? Because I never wash my face at night.
In the beginning of working in aesthetics, I used to say, wash your face no matter what. If you have makeup on, you absolutely need to wash your
If
face.
if you have makeup on, you need to double cleanse.
But I also have water washes. I don't always use an actual soap or a chemical to wash my face. Sometimes I have a cleansing cloth that I use. If I'm using a chemical or a soap, I just use my fingertips. And then if I'm not using a soap and I use warm water to wash my face, whether I'm taking a break from whatever cleanser I'm doing or if I am being lazy and I didn't have makeup on that day, I will just use the warm water to get everything off the surface, and then I still follow at least 2 steps. I'll put on like an antioxidant for night and then my triple lipid. I don't always use a soap though, but I also don't like Stephanie. Like I have makeup on today because we're doing this, but I mean, if you walk into Lemmon, you're not going to see this face. This is not what you see. I don't wear makeup out every day anymore. But if you're coming home with makeup on and you don't wash it off, I promise you're going to be trying to see me in about 5 to 10 years. And you're going to ask me, what can you do? And I'm going to say, how often did you sleep in your makeup? Because I can tell.
Wow, really?
I used to be that person.
You
slept
slept
with
with
makeup?
makeup.
Oh my gosh, me too. I used to be that person. I used to be that person, 7 years ago. I would have, all that makeup on, and then even coming off shift, like, gosh, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, I'll just wash it before I wake up for my next shift.
Oh,
But, and then I really did the deep dive into like, what happens to your skin. When is your skin going to repair itself? It repairs itself while you're sleeping. And so if you're not putting the good stuff on it so it can rehydrate, like she said, like replenishing your skin, if you're not treating your skin, like that's why we do Retin-A at night. If you're not doing all the things when you're sleeping, like again, it's all about double duty. I'm sleeping, my skin's working really hard.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to happen.
So what is happening when you leave your makeup on?
Your skin is sitting in dirt, oil, and it's your makeup. You think about it, most people add, like when you do makeup, you put on a primer, then you go ahead and put on your nice thick foundation. So you have 2 layers right there. Then you might add some concealer over an area that's already really thin and needs to breathe. Or, we add concealer over pimples and spots and everything else. Those areas need to be cleaned and they need to breathe. So oxygen is literally the vehicle that will help heal your skin. And you are slamming that door shut. And it's like, let's put a seal on that and let's just build that bacteria until it goes.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And that's what happens.
That is so interesting.
And
that's also how you end up with larger pores. It's not the only reason.
Yeah.
If you think about a pore, physically, right? A pore is a V in your skin. It's not just a hollow. The tip of this V starts out like this when we're little, and it goes like this as we get older and older. And that's from sebum production, number 1. So I typically tell my patients, so if you have more melanin in your skin, you usually have more sebum production. And that is why maybe a 50-year-old patient that comes in that is highly melanated doesn't have as many wrinkles as a 50-year-old patient that's not. And that's just all in the melanin. Their skin has been more moisturized throughout their life. Therefore, the wrinkles don't present themselves. But there are other caveats to that make it, or other things that make that not as desirable. If you see, that same 50-year-old melanated patient, their pores may be huge. And that's because their sebum has been coming out at such a rapid rate their whole life. If you have makeup on top of that or anything on top of that and you're not letting it breathe, that has become a cup that's holding that makeup. And there's no way you're getting all that makeup out after you wake up and you've rolled around on the pillow and it's been pressed down into it. So you are leaving some of that into your skin. And then that's where blackheads and melia, not melia, but blackheads and pimples. And sometimes patients I have a lot of patients who have these like little flush colored raised areas on their skin. And they're not quite SKs or HKs, but they're just these little areas that you can get sebum out of if you squeeze them enough. And if you patients keep doing it, they're like, every time I squeeze this out, some like gut comes out and then I'm really happy with it. And then it just pops back up. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's a trapped area. So, you have to think about what you're leaving on your skin and what your skin is eating, because your skin's alive, right? So it's your biggest organ. So you've got to think about what you're leaving on it. That's like if you washed your face, and I have kids, so I try to use these examples with my kids. Like, okay, you can scrub your face all you want, but if you're also not cleaning your neck and you're not cleaning your shoulders and you're not cleaning you're leaving all of that stuff behind on these areas on your skin. Well, what is your skin going to do with that? It's just going to harbor it and hold on to it. Right. So then you get damage down the road because your skin is holding on to things it's not meant to hold on to.
Mm-hmm. So interesting.
So that being said, I feel like, right here in between kind of my nose, I always get like these like white heads maybe. And I have this little like metal thing that I push and it kind of like takes everything out. Yeah. But I feel like it's constant,
Yeah.
What, like I
microneedling.
Well, I heard of like an extraction facial is what I needed.
So you can get, Any type of facial that includes extractions is fine. And I don't really like preach against that. I just say you have to find a time in your treatment plan for that to work for you. If you're going to do things like microneedling and lasers, you want to sandwich those type of things between your treatments to do as maintenance. A hydrofacial is a great option. There is an actual step within the hydrofacial that does extractions for you. They don't use a tool, but they use the hand piece on the machine. We have a hydrofacial machine at Lemmon.
It kind of like sucks.
I
Yeah.
loved that thing.
So it opens your pore up,
Yep.
sucks everything
With
out, and
water,
then
right?
closes your pore back out. There's a special serum inside the machine. Yeah. It's amazing. It's life changing. You can do a series of those, and your pores will definitely thank you later.
Yes.
But it's not the end. It's not the only thing you have to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that will continue to happen if your pores like to hold on to things and then trap them like yours are doing. Then we've got to get to the root of that. And some of that could be exfoliation. Are you getting your glycans right down in that area? You can, right. So, and most of us don't. You put your cleanser on your hand, you kind of get it over your face, and you're kind of done.
Yeah.
Think about glycans, especially as a 10% glycolic acid. So that's very
pretty
strong. Think about it as the way to get rid of something. So if I have that issue going on, which I get too on my nose, I'll take my glycans and take it on my finger on my
And I
nose
go.
dry. Yep. And I get it in there, leave it for 3 to 5 minutes.
Yep.
I just did a glycolic acid treatment on my nose. Now, I'm not telling everybody to go coat their face in glycolic acid, but if you use glycans and you've been told by one of us that that's what you need, then doing
Yes.
that and leaving it on for an extra few minutes actually does do more than just putting it on and washing it off. There's one other product I'm going to want you to try. I'm going to make a note for next time you're in, but it's a glycolic overnight treatment.
Yep.
It's called Glycol 10. That's by SkinCeuticals as well. That is sort of my saving grace for patients who still continue to have issues. And I use it. I used it last night. When I know I'm going somewhere, I'm doing something, I use it, and my skin is really smooth the next morning. I don't use. You can't use it every night. I did that when we first got it. I did it for like 2 months, and I was like, I think I don't have a moisture barrier. I think this is all like I was leaving DNA everywhere. I was so flaky, like it was terrible. Stephanie was like, I think you need to stop.
DNA everywhere.
But everybody has different issues with their skin. I've got patients who get that like right in front of their ears. Even.
Yep.
And that's because nobody really sits there and scrubs in front of their ears unless you have makeup on, because when you do your makeup, you blend it back to your ear. But then again, I have patients who neglect that area as a whole. They forget to take their makeup off of the area. Now they get acne in that area, or they've got acne scarring in that area, and we've got to treat it. So there is a treatment plan for every patient, and it will never be the same.
And it's
No.
never
Yeah.
the same for them.
And you do
Everybody.
you microneedle the neck.
I do the neck
chest,
and then chest.
hands.
Yep, hands if we need to.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what you did, didn't you?
They're actually still peeling.
How was it on your hands? How did it feel? Was it worse than your face?
No.
Okay. She's like,
She's like, no.
No.
I mean, it's not comfortable, but no.
She called me and she was like, I think when I told Stephanie that I didn't want a facelift, I think she took that very
Yeah.
seriously.
She's giving me a
We
facelift.
we did, because, that goes into another area of, I need to go deeper. I need you to produce more collagen. Like, we are working towards a new goal.
Mhm.
And so new goal means a little bit more of a serious commitment. And, and we had already introduced her and we had already done the baby steps. And so now she was fully mentally prepared for us to do.
I don't know about that.
You got through it and you survived.
She did. She survived.
But did you die?
I kept
That's how
telling
I
her, I
felt.
said, Mom, it's temporary.
She did.
It's temporary. You'll be fine. Yeah, that's what we kept saying.
I do have to show you this, though. I did that.
Look.
Oh,
I did that the other day.
So what are you showing?
Is that
Yeah,
day
I
one?
yeah. Right after
Maybe
day 2?
day 2. I don't know.
That's
I have a
awesome.
whole thing, but
Oh wow, that's a before and after.
Yeah.
I mean,
Her beat up.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
See, but that's good though, because
That
you
is
want your
scary.
patients to know this is how
a
you'll
serious
look.
treatment. Yeah.
I try to find some of my worst healing pictures and share them with patients in
I mean-
consult
Yes.
so they know. Like you could really
I just
look.
did that real quick
messed
because
up.
it wasn't really a good after, but I was just like, whoa, this is craziness.
So what was the difference? Because you did threads, but then did you do threads with Stephanie, or are those different
did
threads?
Those are different threads.
different ones.
There are lifting threads and then there are smooth threads. And so the
Oh.
lifting threads have tiny little barbs
Barbs.
all along and we use them to lift pads
Yeah.
or areas of the face.
So would you do that in place of filler?
No.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're different. So filler is replacing volume.
Okay.
So if you I often will see patients that have like very little cheek volume here. And so we would place a little filler here, and then but they also have a heavy fold, meaning that the cheek pad here has decreased in size.
Mhm.
You know, our body has eaten a little bit of that fat. It's
Mhm.
flattened, and then it's also drooped. So we would place a little filler, and then we would use the thread to lift.
Oh.
And that's how we would get that volume and
Lift.
lift.
But without making them you look puffy, because I think people would put the filler here to lift it.
I
Right.
loved it. I mean, obviously it doesn't last very long, and it was very creepy.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I can do that again. I don't
It's
know.
a very
Will
different
I?
experience.
Will
Oh,
I?
Are you talking about the threads, the lifting threads?
But you also, I mean, you did great through the smooth threads. And I feel like, again, the more that you strengthen the skin, the better result and the longer lasting result
sure.
you have.
Gotcha.
Because there's just more collagen, there's just more to attach to.
That's so crazy. Have you done threads?
No, I would never.
No, you would
No,
never.
I thought about it once,
Never
but
say never.
I also am just
Look at
like I said,
that.
she's trying. 3 years of trying to get me to do microneedling, and she finally did it. I am the patient that if something's going to go wrong, it goes wrong with me. And so
Wow.
even when I get just filler, my swelling is terrible.
Really?
Do you remember? Yeah.
yeah. What I mean.
Gosh, it was bad. And so with threads, I just don't know if I could mentally take it. Like it takes a toll on me when I even get filler. But that's just, I mean, you just
Yeah.
have to know yourself to know where your limits are, and threads might be my limit.
What about you?
I've seen it done. Like Shay gets that shit done all the time, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's scary looking.
I remember you were there when she was cutting it the
Yeah.
last time, and you
I
were
was
like,
what the?
you're like, that was
fuck?"
painful.
Yeah.
Oh, what the?
It's wild, but I mean that instant gratification afterwards. That's what made me even think about it in the. I was like, man, I'll just go like take pictures right after, and then that'll be worth it.
Yeah.
Like I just want my face to look real lifted, but it's the process for me. I just can't.
Now, can you get that same look if somebody is too scared of threads? Like, can you do filler like that, or is that too risky to be like puffy? Like
So
Madonna.
that is the
Yeah,
thing
that's
is
exactly
for years everybody's like, oh no, we'll just use this filler and we'll just lift here, and it does for a little bit.
Yeah.
But then you run the risk of making the face too wide. You make the face
Right.
puffy. It looks abnormal in animation. Maybe it looks great. You snap the picture and it looks perfect. But then as soon as the person starts talking, moving, making facial expressions, you go,
That's
"Oh,
weird.
something's different."
Or 3 months later, God forbid, it migrates a little bit, which
Yeah.
filler does do. But if you're placing filler correctly and it migrates, it's not as big of a deal. It's when you're placing it. I feel like it's when injectors do things in lieu of what they should do is when things start to look odd. You know,
Gotcha.
like you put too much filler in her lip when she couldn't take that, and
Right,
now
you should've
she's
just
got a
said no.
duck lip. You know, you should have
Yeah.
told her she's not a candidate for
Yeah.
2 syringes.
But that has to be the biggest probably issue is people not saying no. You're
that's
good.
Oh,
absolutely.
100%.
It's what gives our industry
Such a bad
that
name.
that
Yeah.
stigma. It's like,
Yeah.
why would you get plastic surgery? Why would you? Oh my gosh, you're gonna look like
Crazy.
Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
Everyone says that to me. I want to look good, but I just don't want Joan Rivers post facelift. And I'm like, well, her
Do you
surgeon
want-
should have told her stop
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
long time before she stopped getting surgeries. And so I think it's all in how honest is your provider going to be.
Right.
I'd rather hear no 20 times and yes
Same.
once than yes 20 times and no once, because then I'm like,
Yep.
are you here
Same.
just to take my money,
Right.
or do you not care about my goals as a person? We can always build to goals, but if I fill you with a bunch of stuff, well, not me because I don't do injections, but
Yeah.
if an injector fills you with a bunch of stuff, you can't. You can do dissolver, but like, who wants to go through all that?
Mm.
I had my lips dissolved once, and I was ready to slap everybody. in
Oh
the office.
yeah, that
Like,
burns
I-
like fire, like fire. That's probably one of the only times that I've cried
terrifying.
sitting in the chair. Because
So just go to someone who knows. That would be my number one message to people. It's like, yes, you can fix mistakes. That it's great that Hylenex is an option, and some fillers can be dissolved. You
Yeah,
don't
some
want to
fillers.
have to do that.
Right,
I mean,
right,
that's like in lasers. I tell patients like, please choose your tattoos wisely, because when I have to remove them,
It's painful,
it
right?
feels like bacon grease getting poured on your skin.
Mm.
So, I mean, it's not. I don't sugarcoat that. Like,
Yeah.
it
No,
hurts.
it hurts.
And luckily, with my background and my scope of practice allows me to be able to inject you to numb you. But if you've got a back piece or a chest piece or a half sleeve, like I can't inject that. So you've got to sit through that
Oh my gosh.
hot fire filling because you decided to get,
Yeah.
5 ex-girlfriends' names on your arm.
Yeah. Do people get mad when you say no? Have you told people
Oh,
no?
yeah.
They get mad.
Yeah.
in
I've
your
had a
room?
few. Most of them really respect what I've asked or what I'm saying because it's not asking. I'm telling you, no, I'm not going to do that.
Right. Yeah.
And generally, if I've said no, I'm like, well, you can go see someone else. But most patients really do respect that.
Yeah.
I do have a few that I can tell by the sneaky look in their eye that's not going to be it, and I'm okay with that as long as they don't walk around saying that
You did that.
I did it.
Yeah.
because I don't want my name on it.
Mhm.
Right.
But I mean, I do. And I will say most of the time it is lips.
I had a feeling. I was about to ask that.
Most of the time it's lips. Sometimes it's cheeks.
I was gonna say the cheeks and the lips.
God,
I
there's
feel
nothing
that's what I
worse
see
than
a
overfilled
lot,
cheek. I
An
just feel
overfilled
like
lip,
I would
though.
take.
especially on guys.
I don't like.
Guys, no, my God.
Sometimes stuff though, I'd take an overfilled lip.
Yeah.
Over an
It's
overfilled cheek.
Oh, yeah.
easier
Because
to
if
fix
they've
an
got
overfilled.
those softballs sitting under
Yeah.
their eyes and then they smile and half their eye
It
is
just
gone,
goes,
it's like what is wrong with you?
It's
Why do you think that looks good?
Is that
They don't
would
have
you
friends.
consider that body dysmorphia? Are they starting to get like
No,
Who
it's
did
a
I
lot of
see?
time-
Mario Lopez.
I saw
No,
that.
what? Bad?
Whoa, his
Yeah.
cheeks.
It's
I saw
recent.
that.
I was like,
Wait,
I
that
wasn't
whoa.
sure
Yeah, it was
was-
recent. It was,
But that was somebody else too at some baseball game. Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Oh
Did you see
wow,
that?
no, I didn't.
Wow.
Yes. Hold on.
and I'm a huge fan of Mario Lopez. Like I've
I
loved
love
him
him.
ever since Saved by the Bell, and he was on he has some show,
Yeah.
and I was like, whoa. I hadn't seen
no.
him in a long time.
See,
and
I think
haven't
the
seen that
terrible
yet.
part about that is like if you've got that much access in all ways, like you
No
don't have a
kidding.
single friend to be like,
to
hey,
tell you, like,
Dude,
dude,
this is not
That's
the route
not
we
good.
should have taken.
yeah.
Well,
No
and I
kidding.
feel like a lot of people as they age, these pads
Yeah.
fall, and so they are chasing that nasolabial fold.
Okay.
And
See,
What-
Oh.
Oh.
I want to. Oh, let me see.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's almost like a
Tom
marionette doll.
Cruise.
Like those dolls that have the real big cheeks and
I
they've got like the
know.
lines.
but a
That's
lot of people are
unfortunate.
chasing that nasolabial
Yeah.
folds, forgetting
Wow.
that even my baby at 7 months old has nasolabial folds, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. And we see these filters, and what they do is they erase that
Mhm.
fold in our face, and so then all of a sudden people are walking around going, well, why can't I just have this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Why can't that disappear? That's because that's not what our face is supposed to be. Now, yes, do we need to do things like piriform aperture injection and, push this out a little bit? Yes. Do we maybe need to have a little volume? And then, sometimes do we use threads to pull this up? And or do we use a facelift to lift all of these back in place so that it is less obvious? But we should never be obliterating
Yeah.
the nasolabial
What
fold. And
the
that's
natural face
Exactly.
does. Gotcha.
and that's where I feel like that's how people end up. That's what happened to me is with a different injector from a long time ago. We ran into that. Like I have heavy nasolabial folds, and we were trying to lift that, trying to get them, to not be the focus. And I ended up with these really, really big poofy cheeks, and my face was really wide. And I saw it in a picture, and I was like, oh.
That's not me.
And no, and I
Yeah.
was like, ooh, let me, and because I was more afraid of asking this person, what to do, I was like, I know I will burn through filler if I work out a lot. And I just worked out really, really hard for like 3
Didn't
months.
know
And
that too.
my
Yeah.
face, it went
Speed of
down,
metabolism.
thankfully. And then, when I started to notice the folds again, thank goodness, was good friends with Jen. And she was like, hey, I'm learning this new thing called threads. Let's do it. And I was like, yes. And she showed me, and I was like, oh, that looks really, really scary. But, my fear was overcome by the fact that I really wanted these gons, but I didn't want
To be puffy.
that puffiness, and I didn't want that wideness. And it just, and isn't that, how all of life is? It's, you have to choose which one's
Yeah.
scarier.
Yeah. Being puffy or just getting it over with. Temporary pain.
There you go.
So safe.
Temporary.
But yeah.
Wow.
But I feel like everything has gone so fast and so great.
I
And
know.
I didn't separate the shows because it was kind of all together. But I want to know, Theresa Reynolds, tell me some more of your personal life before we wrap up. I
Yeah.
want to hear your story.
So I started in nursing in 2009. Well, in the medical field in 2009, I was a medical assistant, fresh out of high school, and did not graduate in 2009. I don't want people to think I'm that young. I am not. But I worked in various specialties, and there are a lot of nurses in my family. And then finally decided to become a practical nurse. I actually taught as adjunct faculty at a college back home in Washington. I taught the RN program with a lab skills portion of it. And that was when I decided I wanted my scope of practice to be bigger. And I actually went forward with practical nursing. And I worked in infectious disease for a while after that. And, as I said, I just really got tired of losing patients and nobody ever coming to me happy or me not being able to help them leave happy, because in infectious disease, it just is what it is. And
How did you get from Seattle to Dallas?
Yeah, my wife's family lives down here. And so we relocated originally in 2011. And that was when I was introduced to lasers. I worked for a company that removed tattoos and did laser hair removal in more of a managerial role. And then I slowly moved into a clinician role with them. And then I went back to Washington for a while. That was when I taught the RN program. We came back to Dallas permanently in 2016. I worked under a very, very well-known laser tech in Dallas and trained under him for quite a while, and slowly became more of a provider in my own right. Joined Lemmon Avenue a little over 3 years ago now. And I just hit the ground running. It's been amazing. I mean, I love what I do. I do what I do because I want people to feel good about themselves. I have a background in mental health as well. So the mental health piece for me, the nursing piece, and the laser piece all kind of mesh and marry very well. So
That's
you mentioned body
amazing.
dysmorphia, and I catch quite a few patients that I consult with that are teetering on what I would definitely
wow.
consider dysmorphic. And it doesn't disqualify them from treatment at all.
No, but what a great thing to
I just have to set up very
How you do
realistic
it.
expectations with that patient so that they know that, no, I cannot get you porcelain glass skin, but I can help you with the pigment, or I
Yeah.
can help you with the texture or whatever.
Well, because that
Um,
technically doesn't exist.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
You
I
have
mean,
to have a pore.
I think that filters have ruined everybody.
Mhm.
So it's second nature. Like I got the newest iPhone, and I didn't realize that there was a setting within the phone that makes your own camera filter people's faces.
No way.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't
and
know
so
that either.
I just realized this the other day. I could not figure out why when I go to take a picture of my kids, their skin looks blurred. And I was like, what is this? This is wild. And I have a 14-year-old, and like I don't want her to think that's normal. And so I made a post on Facebook, which was just random. And one of my friends was like, yeah, you need to go in your settings and turn off it's like beauty mode or something like that. And I was like, it was already on the phone. Like I pulled the phone out of the box this way,
Oh,
so
that's
I think that
crazy. That's crazy.
working in this industry allows me at least to feel like I have a small part of helping people have a realistic expectation of what their skin should be, more so than just their face, because I do full body resurfacing. So, yeah, I love what I do.
And you said you have children?
I do. I have a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 10-year-old.
Oh my gosh,
Wow.
you're busy.
Yes,
Wow.
that's an understatement.
Boys, girls.
So my 14-year-old is a girl, my 12-year-old is a boy, and then my 10-year-old is a girl.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's like me, girl, boy, girl.
Yes, I think that's the perfect sandwich though, because he's such
Yeah.
a little sweetie, and
Mm-hmm.
he knows how to treat a girl. So
And you said you have a wife. When did you get married?
yeah, I got married in 2016, right before we moved here, but we've been together for 12 years.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
So yeah, it's been a long, long road, but we're finally here.
That's
Do you ever
awesome.
miss Washington or
I miss not sweating every day. I hate heat. So moving down here was the
Oh.
biggest compromise was like the weather. Like she would be
It's-
like, "We're gonna move," and like my family's down there. Like, let's go down there. We've been up here with your family for so long, and I'm just like, I'm gonna melt into the ground. Like I'm just
Yeah.
not you. Like, and I'm from Chicago, so like cold is like
You're
my
used to it.
happy spot.
yeah.
And so Yeah, she was like, if that's all your only complaint, like, you can get over that. And I was like, oh, can I? And then I got down here and I was like, this is miserable. Like, how do y'all
It
do
is
this?
hot.
My air conditioner runs 24 hours. Like, it's on right now. Like-
Mine is too. Yeah. And you have a new baby?
I know. Tell
New
us
baby,
your
yes.
your life story a little bit, just a little bit about it.
I
You got
mean,
married.
I got married 3 years ago, and we've actually been together for about 7 years. I've known him for almost a decade.
Oh wow.
It's wild. But yeah, we just had our first baby, and we're planning on having a few more. She's a little girl,
Oh,
and
adorable.
she is the happiest
She
baby.
really is.
Like, just smiles. She has no fear of any new person. She's just like, oh, I'll come
I love
hang
you.
on to you and love
and
you.
how old?
7 months.
Oh my
Almost-
gosh,
yeah,
so
7 months.
brand new baby.
Brand new baby. Yeah,
Wow.
brand new.
You
How-
just have to look at her Instagram. She's the
I do.
cutest thing
I
ever.
adore her. I don't know her, but
Yes.
I feel like I
Every
know
time
her.
Steph brings her in, she just knows to bring her straight to me. Like,
Yeah.
just let me see my baby,
Very
and then my day
cute.
will be fine.
Makes
Have
your
you
day.
adjusted to being a working mom, wife?
The
That's-
guilt, like
guilt.
that
Mom
mom
guilt.
guilt is like so real. Like, you want to be with your baby all day, but at the same time you're like, I need to go out and, make a living and do this. And then, but when everyone's like, oh, hey, you want to go do this after work? I'm like, I'd love to, but I can't.
Yeah.
And whereas before I was always the person I was like, yeah, let's go, Now I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I can't. Like, I don't even necessarily hang out after work to chit chat to people. I'm just like,
Out.
I gotta go.
Gotta go home.
I gotta go. I gotta hold my baby. And it is the most exciting thing I do when I walk in the door, and her smile, like, it just lights up her face. And it's the best. And
She's
it's the
precious.
saddest part of my day when I leave her in the morning. But yeah, I just absolutely, and I try to take her everywhere with me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we're doing happy hour. Can I bring my
She's
baby?
on my stomach, and you won't even know she's here.
Right? Like, I mean, you guys did it when,
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. Do you have any other messages? Do you have any other questions here?
I think I asked a lot of questions.
Yeah, y'all are so good and knowledgeable
Yeah.
about everything.
Amazing. Like, I feel like I need to listen back and write down all the things, send you all the pictures of products I have, and you
Yeah.
go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Just bring in your products. And that goes for every client. Bring your
Mhm.
products, and let's go through your
Go
skincare.
through it.
Yeah.
Let's simplify it so that you use the things you have.
Yeah, that's going to be key.
Mhm.
And, and the things you don't, then you can just give to friends, right?
there
And
you
help
go.
them expand their skincare closet.
That's awesome. Well, give us your social media information, please.
I am at the Stephanie Glow on Instagram, and I think I'm just I'm Stephanie Fallman on Facebook.
I am Theresa Does Lasers. It's real easy. On Instagram, and then on TikTok, it's the same thing.
Nice. You on TikTok too?
I like to try to make some reels and educational
Yes.
stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, thank you so much. We enjoyed it. And thank you, everyone, for
you.
listening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.